Yeah, we'll jump in, and what I do is I just record this, and we just flow with it. I'll interview you, and
Cool.
I think what we also talk about is there anything you want to talk about and don't want to talk about, or can I lead? Okay.
No. Okay. The only thing I don't want to talk about is exactly how many times I've done ayahuasca.
Okay. Okay. Well, you're okay talking
The
about you're okay talking
only
about
because
your
of my I don't want my ex-husband to ever find that information.
okay. You're okay talking about your Aya experience, just not how many times.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
That's the only top secret information. Everything else is cool.
Okay. Yeah, we'll keep that. We'll keep that.
And then also I try to stay away from saying anything about like the first medical license in the world. I try to stay away from that too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I keep it fairly topical. I don't know if that's all stuff that anybody that's considering coming to Rythmia would really care about anyway. So I'm concerned about your Wi-Fi signal, by the way.
My Wi-Fi signal? Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Is that mine? Mine's on full signal.
Okay.
Is yours?
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Then if we stumble through it, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
I'll edit it up. Cool.
Cool.
All right, let's jump in.
All right.
Hey everybody, Robin Reed here with another exciting guest. Meet Brandee Alessandra Powell. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
We could just go
Brandee
with Brandee
Powell.
Yeah. Brandee is the co-owner of Rythmia, and you have seen from other guests what their experience is like here and some of the powerful transformational shifts their lives have taken from the kind of the before, during, and after, and what to expect there. And today is exciting because we get to actually talk to Brandee, who is part of the operations there. She's on the board there, and she's kind of she's in the day in, day out. She's not just a visitor, but she actually runs the place. So, Brandee, really excited to connect with you here, my friend.
Great to be here.
I know, right? Let's start off with the vision of Rythmia. So, obviously, Jerry, your husband and co-owner, has a powerful story of where all this came about. What's kind of your version of why you got involved in this and how it all came to be?
Mm-hmm. So, I guess I'll start back in 2012. I owned a marketing and branding company, and I was like rocking it in business. I was young, and we had one of the top marketing companies in our industry. I just made a DJ toy product with Flow Rider, but everything was looking pretty good on the outside, but on the inside of my life, I was really struggling because I was basically crawling into work. I felt like it was just totally soul sucking. I wasn't creating anything that was making an impact, which was always my goal. But, when I got into this business, I had a passion and something that I really wanted to do. And I felt like, okay, I'm going to do this and then fund what I really want to do. So on the side of this, I was always in life transformation work. I came from a very, very traumatic childhood. So I was a hot mess, and I still am a mess, but I'm not as much of a hot mess I was back then before the journey. And I had done every self-help program, read 1,000 self-help, personal development, spiritual books, and I was undoing my childhood where, my father committed suicide when I was 6 years old, and I walked into the room. After that, I went to live with my mother, and she became a meth addict. So I lived with a meth addict until I was 11 years old. And thankfully, my grandparents, who, when my mother went to prison, found out about all of this, and they're like the complete opposite. They're like, they're like, leave it to Beaver, never said a cuss word in their life, never told a lie in their life. So I got these two complete contrasts in life. And, you know, I had a super hardcore teenage experience being raised in Oakland. It was a pretty rough one. And I never had anyone to like process all of this trauma. So I went through hard experiences during that time. And thankfully, I got to a point where I made a choice that I wasn't going to go down the same road as my mother and my father. And I found this work. And so I had done everything. And, you know, I still, after, you know, my life looked successful in so many ways, but I had this terrible pattern of attracting very dysfunctional men. And I was, you know, at the peak with this rapper Egyptian boyfriend that I was with at the time. A sweetheart guy, but very, you know, we were both playing out our perfect match where everything was like peaking, you know, and so I had this whole vision on the side where I was working with, I had created a life transformation program, and I was working with men transitioning out of prison, teaching them mystical teachings, teaching them patient techniques. And I had this whole vision that I put together where I wanted to take the most breakthrough healing modalities, because I was really into Kriya yoga and sound healing, and I was finding a lot of rapid growth in using more of the quantum healing modalities that were going beyond just trying to heal through the mind. And so I had this whole vision to create a center in Costa Rica. In that year, something happened between my business partner and I, and overnight our relationship was over. She did something behind my back, and we were done. And I got left in this really scary situation. I had this big, like, holy crap, what just happened here? And you know, and then in that time of transition, I was really just done working in this business I didn't really want to do anymore. And of course, this is like a moment of testing, because all of a sudden, the universe starts with like most amazing opportunity, financial opportunity, like creating kind of like what I was doing before. And so that was like the safe road. Or I could go back and go to court and like fight for, you know, everything that was mine. Or I could step into the unknown. And that's the place where it was really difficult, because you don't know what's going to happen. Your soul is like, my soul was like crying to do what I really wanted to do. But it took a lot of risk to just surrender, to let go, to trust, to call it in, and then just to follow the guidance, you know. So I made that commitment and that choice, that spoke it out loud, and on one of the biggest movements on the planet. Use me, guide me. I don't want to be the one in control anymore. And I started being guided through all of these different things. I started working with Marianne Williamson on her Congress and other amazing projects and thought leaders doing consulting. And then these shamans, Costa Rica called me, who had an ayahuasca center. And I didn't know what ayahuasca was, but I knew that Costa Rica was on my vision board. So I was like, yes. And I go out there, and it's like this beautiful, beautiful land with like waterfalls, like my dream on my vision board. I'm like, and they're like, well, we don't have the money to pay you, but if you help us market ayahuasca, we can give you land. And I'm like, oh yes. But you see, whatever it was, the thing that I knew that it was healing and helping people, but it kind of looked like a drug. And for my background, anything like a drug, I was like running from that. So I went back home, and all of a sudden, like every week, I'm getting invited to these plant medicine ceremonies. And I'm like, hell no, I'm not doing this. And then finally, the fourth person invited me. She was a 70-year-old woman. I was doing consulting for her company, and there's no way that I could say no to her. She's credible. She's the most amazing woman, and she has been working with these plants for 30 years. So I go to this retreat where she's going to be doing a visioning retreat around her company. And I'm talking to the shaman. I'm trying to understand what exactly this plant is that looks like a hallucinogenic to me, and it's freaking me out. And they explained to me, this is not a drug. This is the opposite of a drug. A drug is something that you take to escape yourself, to put a Band-Aid on your problems. A medicine is something that heals you. It's something that you will go into your problems and heal your problems. It's the absolute opposite. So when I understood what I was doing, I said, and I was told to set my intention, and that would be guided to healing and visions around the intention. So my two intentions were, 1, what is my life purpose? 2, why do I keep attracting the same guy with a different face over and over again? And when the medicine kicked in, the veil was lifted, and for the first time, I could hear my inner voice loud and clear. And I was guided to this vision, and it said to me, overcompensating mother. I would have never thought of that word from my brain. It was like, you are an overcompensating mother. The mother that you wished you, the protection that you wished you had, you become that to the superwoman level. And you want to get to everybody because you didn't get it yourself. So then it started to show me every man I've ever been with and what their story was with their mother. And it showed me, where they felt their mother abandoned them, or where their mother did them wrong, or whatever it was. They were either mad at their mother or felt abandoned from their mother. And so they turned to me and they're like, Mommy. And I'm like, baby, I'll take care of you. And it's like this total beautifully dysfunctional relationship that's totally codependent, and every person is perfect. And my angels in the whole process of waking up, it's that you get to a point where you're repeating the same pattern over and over, and you're exhausted and you're just done with it. And so the medicine showed me this and was like, now that you really have this awareness of which you're being healed and you're going to be guided, to the next person. And then it showed me my vision of this whole dream of Costa Rica and the center. And it said, this is all happening and you're being guided. And the energy that you've been putting into these relationships, where you end up playing the same role, where you're trying to save your mother with men who have addiction problems or men who don't want to do the work, and you're sitting there trying to wake them up. This whole cycle is taking you out of what you came here to do with your life purpose. And it was showing me that me healing this will give me the energy to put that into this work and into the world. So, so after that, I get a phone call to meet with a guy in Malibu named Gerard Powell, who had a vision to open a plant medicine center in Costa Rica. So he had heard about the center that I have, and we met up. And then it turned out that he was partnered with Michael Beckwith, who is my reverend from Agape. And we just knew that we were supposed to do this all together. So I teamed up with them. We went to Costa Rica. We found Rythmia in a helicopter. Gerard did a plant medicine journey and was actually told by the moon, by the medicine, to take that center. And that is how it all started.
Wow. What I gathered from that was that you were actually so you and the founders were really on parallel journeys, right? You had the thing that you had the thing that you were doing, and you knew you wanted to do plant-based medicine, and then the three of you actually came together to make all this happen. And I love what you
Dr.
said.
Jeff was actually, I have to say, and Dr. Jeff was partnered with Gerard as well, who was actually the chief medical officer of the rehab that Gerard had come out of in Malibu.
Right. Yeah, he has a powerful story as well. And so I love what you were saying about how, the hot mess, and you were able to kind of transform that. My mind went to, well, now you just have a lot of character.
Well, I didn't say I completely transformed anything. It's an evolution. It's an evolution. And the question is, right. But the question is, like, how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go? And there's always more healing, more, the next level that you could take it to. It just depends on how far you want to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What would you tell someone, maybe who's in a similar space? We've interviewed a few women who also had stories of saving men, and how interlaced that codependency can be. What would you tell someone who's kind of at the end of that and is just like yourself? They tried everything and they're just they're in that faithful hopelessness, right? Where they know something's out there. What would you share with a woman in that type of scenario, or man?
I would say to find out what your pattern is, get awareness, because it's one thing to work with these quantum healing modalities. It's amazing. We're 95% of our brain is our subconscious mind, which is creating our whole reality, and so we think that the more that we're learning, the more that we're understanding, that's going to somehow give us more, control over.
Brandee, looks like we might have lost you. Are you there? More control. That's the last thing we heard.
That's the first key.
Oh, okay. Go back. Yeah. Go back. We lost you for about 15 seconds there. We heard someone who's wanting more control, and then it skipped out. Can you rewind?
Yeah, sure. Somebody who wants to have more control over, how they want to show up in their life, and how they want their life to turn out. You really need to understand what is creating your life. 95% of your reality is being created by your subconscious mind, by your emotional body, partly by your soul, but usually it's more of the program, that you have been created into believing, what's true and who you are and what reality is. And so I say, go to find out as much as you can, get to the truth of who you really are and what you came here to do.
I like that. In a lot of these stories, yourselves included, there's a theme, just this underlying theme that continues to show up about this unraveling process, right? That big event that happened where we got split off and became something different, and understanding that story where we became someone else is key in fixing that 95% of the psychology that's running our program, so that our truer selves can kind of come back. And that's something y'all say at Rythmia is, what is it? Show me who I've become, heal my heart, merge me back to my soul at all costs. What was the fourth?
Yeah, and merge me back with my soul at all costs. Exactly. Yeah. You got it.
Yeah. So it's like this process, this evolution of, wait a minute, I've become this. Yeah, exactly. So,
back to the Ankh.
So tell us about the Ankh. That's that part of rebirth you were telling me about. Talk about that.
Yes, and the symbol of Ankh is becoming one with your soul. It is the symbol of rebirth, from ancient Egypt. And what's really amazing about it is Gerard. So I was always into the mystical teachings, and I had been studying it for years and years and years. But Gerard was fresh to it all. So when he was getting messages on the medicine, I would be completely blown away, because it was like something he had never heard before. He was straight channeling from spirit. So actually this whole process came through him, of show me who I've become, heal my heart, and merge my soul. This all came through him. And it was really amazing when we looked back into the ancient mystery schools to find out that this was actually what the process that was being done, for ascension in the mystery schools throughout time, all over the world.
So so we're not a cult, but in this rebirth process, when you experience something this powerfully, so many of us, we go and we get the ankh that shows the rebirth. So you really need to give these out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Brand us. But yeah, I'm a believer. So why would someone do this? I mean, the personal development business is a multi-billion-dollar a year business, right?
Yeah.
And there's some incredible things you can do. Anywhere from something that's more intellectual, motivational, from Tony Robbins to all the books to, oh my gosh, we could sit here and talk about so many different modalities of personal development that have a religious flair to them. I talk about your experience with that shift that creates consistent change, right? Versus just, hey, I left Rythmia for a week and that felt great and life is good for about 30 days. Like, what are some of the shifts we're seeing, like ongoing? Like, people are really making powerful life change.
Yeah. So, I've seen people who have worked with the plants for years and have done them hundreds of times, and they're still struggling through the same issues. The plant medicine is not a magic pill. And that, I think, is the misconception of a lot of people that come to the work. They think that they're going to take a magic pill and poof, they're going to be like some ascended master, right? And like not have any, all of their problems are going to be gone. Sometimes that's the case, because once in a while, like sometimes you have that person who was ready for a complete miraculous healing, right? But most of us, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So we're not here to be ascended masters. We're here to have this journey to remembering the ascended master that we are, right? And if we just jumped and went right into it, we would be missing out on the whole experience of the earth school, right? So, on the other hand, there are people who are ready to fully embody in an instant something completely miraculous and game-changing, where they could walk right into a complete healing in something. But a lot of times, more times, what's going on is that you take the plant medicine, you lift the veil, you're able to see what you can't see, from as a result of not having access to your pineal gland, or whatever it is. You're able to see what is in your subconscious. What are the false beliefs that are behind the scenes running the show? What is emotionally trapped in your physical body that is recreating the same experience, the same trauma over and over and over again, right? And so what the plant medicine experience is doing is it's giving you that awareness. It's clearing the space energetically for a healing. But now you took your entire life to create who you are. So don't think that it's just going to be, it could be done overnight, but statistically, usually what happens is that you've got to now take that into practice, into real life. That's actually when the real journey begins, because, okay, great. You got the awareness. Now, what are you going to do? How are you going to change that into your life? It's like you need to build a muscle. And so then what's really cool about the medicine is that, you will start to see how situations will show up in life to actually reinforce the healing that you received on the medicine. So opportunities will come up, triggers will come up, people will show up and piss you off and do all the things that you swore that you weren't going to react to. And you're going to react again. And you're going to be like, I thought I took plant medicine. I thought I healed this. No, you don't heal it until it takes practice of building the muscle, right? So it's going to keep showing up, and then you keep, choosing and choosing and choosing to reinforce this new behavior. And the more that you consciously choose the new way, then you actually embody and become the healing and the awareness that you got from the plant medicine journey.
Okay. I like what you said there, Brandee, about, I noticed this really stuck. It said, you said, not when people come to Aya, but when people come to the work, right? It's work. And to your point, it's not just take a potion and you're better, but it's work. And, if somebody's got cancer, it's going to be work to get that into remission. Chemo is just one piece of that remission, right? But it could be a piece of a total care package. And I think that was a key distinction in what you shared, that nobody else has brought out, is that, wait a minute, this is the way my life is. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick and tired. I want this situation to be over. I'm going to use Aya as an opportunity to deepen my work and get past the ego and the trauma and whatever's in our stories. So that's pretty powerful. So how many people have come through Rythmia's doors now, would you say?
Yeah, we've had over 4,000 people do the program, and 95% of them have self-reported having a life-changing miracle happen before they leave.
That's unbelievable. That is truly, truly God's work when you're able to tap people back into miracles and some type of infinite intelligence, some type of spirit being, regardless what you call it, so that people can self-heal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, look at the generational effects that could have, right? When somebody comes back and can make amends and is not inherited and passed down into children, born or unborn. That's
absolutely. And we're really, we're living in a time where we don't have time to wallow in what happened to us for 20 years, right? We don't have time for people to go through their entire life and then at their deathbed realize, that, oh, I had a calling, I could have done more, this relationship could have been more. It's like, no, we're being called to wake up right now and to go into, to actually be the shift that the energy already exists on the planet. There's a whole dimension of love and beauty and solutions to every single problem that we're facing on the planet. And so these tools that, whether it's breath work, whether it's plant medicine, whether it's sound healing, these are all opportunities to heal in a very fast way. And, rather than going your whole life trying to change something, you can do it really quickly and shift it and step into your higher self and live that now. Yeah.
How powerful to be on the front lines of seeing people make those transformations and just break through. I saw it firsthand, and I had no idea what I was agreeing to. So,
none of us did.
Yeah. Wow. I've deepened my own practice since attending Rythmia and love being in partnership with you guys. So, Brandee, thank you so much for being here. What else? Is there anything else you'd like to share?
I guess I just share that if anybody's interested, check out our film, The Reality of Truth. It's on YouTube. And it's a great story with, the top thought leaders, Michelle Rodriguez, Ram Dass, the story of Rythmia, and, it can help to answer any further questions about the plant medicines. And, also to go to rythmia.com and check out, what speakers are coming. And if you're a woman, to check out Majesty. So I lead a week-long women's retreat where we teach the ancient mystical ways and bring them for the modern woman.
Ooh.
So.
Ooh, I like.
Yes.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll make sure that all the links of where people can follow you are posted here, so they can connect with you. So really
Thank
admire.
you so much.
Yeah, love the work that you and Gerald are doing down there, and I can't wait to come back and see you guys again.
Yes, we can't wait for you to be back.
I'm gonna do it. We're gonna bring some people with me. So thank you for being here, Brandee. Really excited to see how Rythmia grows and where you guys go to. Thanks for letting me be part of it.
Awesome, Robin. Thanks for your support, brother.
My pleasure.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Okay.